Unfortunately, every single day it appears that we just wake up and there's more negative news within the TCG. Things just go from bad to worse and the Pokemon company fall further and further behind the 8 ball. Now, very quickly, before we go through the Pokemon Center and I show you just what I'm talking about with things going from bad to worse, as we're pretty much sold out across the board of all of your mainline sets from the TCG and the products we have available for them. But beforehand, guys, just a quick reminder, I did mention this on the promo video I made the other day. This Eevee card right here, this stamped Pokemon Day promo Eevee card. Guys, while I'm talking, I'll leave a video that I've just taken. I did receive the Eevee card and I'm just going to kind of put like a close-up video of the Eevee card, just displaying how beautiful it is. It is a fantastically looking card. I'm a big fan of it. You can see the way it sparkles, the shine on it. I think it looks a lot better in person than it does on your screen. Therefore, guys, as it says here, if you spend over $29.99 on the TCG or any TCG product on the Pokemon Center website, you can obtain this as a free gift. Guys, it does say while supplies last, so don't hang around. Get this product while you can. Yes, it does say available until the 31st of March, but I'm almost positive this will go quicker than that. It will be a case of the card no longer being available instead of it reaching the date that it's available to, right? So get the card while you can. Beautiful looking card, and a card that's probably going to be worth £1 or $2 or $1 or $2 in the future. Probably going to be quite valuable. It's Eevee. We know how valuable Eevee cards are. We know how desirable they are. Therefore, I urge you guys to pick up something from the TCG on the Pokemon Center website and bag yourself this beautiful free promo card. So guys, here we are on the Pokemon Center website. Now this is a telling sign. We're going to see how starved of available products the Pokemon Center website is. Now this is a first. You don't normally see it this bare bones when it comes to TCG products. But as you can see here, Prismatic Evolutions, of course, nothing there. Surging Sparks, nothing there. And I'm going to continue to cycle through the products, guys. And as you can see, it's a telling sign. Everything is sold out. We even go back to some of the later sets from Sword and Shield. Okay, your Build and Battle Stadium sits there for Brilliant Stars, but it's always the last product to go. It's not the most desirable product, right? It's not a bad one, but it's not as good as your ETB or your Booster Bundle or your Booster Box or even your 3-pack blister, right? And then we have a look at other sets, such as Silver Tempest. Same story. Only the Build and Battle Stadium remains. We have a look at Course 151. Everything gone. We even look at sets such as Obsidian Flames, which wasn't the most desirable set. Everything gone. We have a look at others like Scarlet and Violet Base. Everything gone. Guys, it's a telling sign, right? As you flick through all of the different TCG sets or expansions, everything is going, or if not, has already gone. There's very few things left, right? If we look at, for example, Paradox Rift, which in my opinion, I've said this before, is a slept on set, has been for a while. Yes, we still have a few things available. We still have the booster box, a couple different 3-pack blisters, and of course the booster bundle here. And as I've said before, the Build and Battle Stadium will always be there. It's always the last thing to go. So if you want anything, you're kind of looking at Paradox Rift or Temporal Forces are your only real options for main sets. As you can see, they're the only ones that have a booster box, 3-pack blister, or a booster bundle left. Apart from that, everything across the board, guys, is sold out. Now, as I said, that's quite a telling sign, because usually with the Pokemon Center website, you can find a plethora of TCG products available whenever you wish, really, right? But when we look at the Pokemon Center website in the USA, it's even worse. If we look at Paradox Rift, you only have a couple of different 3-pack blisters available, whereas on the UK site, if you remember right, for example, as we can see here with Paradox Rift, you still had the Build and Battle boxes available, booster bundle, booster box, etc. In the USA, it's even worse. As you can see here, only have the 3-pack blisters available. And if we look at Temporal Forces, which was the other one available on the English website, only single booster packs and the booster box available. Everything else sold out. Things are going crazy on the Pokemon Center worldwide. Very quickly, guys, before we move on to the next part of the video, just a huge thank you as we approach 500 subscribers, which sounds ludicrous to say, but thanks to your amazing support, it is a realistic possibility. So, guys, if you are new here, you don't know who I am, you haven't watched any of my videos, I like to talk about the Pokemon TCG. I put out a new video every other day. If this sounds like something you'd enjoy, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. And if you are enjoying the video, leave a like, as it really does help me out. Now, this isn't just impacting the Pokemon Center and sealed products available on their website, right? This is also transitioning into single cards that are just going way above what they really should be. Have a look at this one, for example. Now, the card in question that I want to talk about, the single I have in front of me, is the Drowzee illustration rare from Scarlet and Violet base set. Now, If you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, you'll see below here, based on the graph that I'll show you, this has risen astronomically in the last few days. As you can see, over the last 6 months, it's seen a rise of 723%, which for me personally is the biggest rise I've ever seen on a single Pokemon card. Now, it currently sits at $82, which in my opinion, I'll say straight off the bat, despite everything, despite the art style, despite the Pokemon, despite who the artist is, which we'll get into in a minute, I still think it's overpriced. Let's not forget, this is just a basic illustration rare. I get illustration rares depending on who the Pokemon is, depending on the art of the card, can fetch very high prices, such as that Magikarp from Paldea Evolved, which of course is illustrated by Shinji Kanda. But this card here being Drowzee, illustrated by Tomokazu Komoya, which, if you're not aware guys, is famous for very abstract style illustrations. Now, here you can see a list of some of the cards he has illustrated. And as you can see on the left here with the artwork being displayed, there's a common theme, right? The artwork is very similar. It's very abstract. It's very different. And with that being the case, it's going to divide opinion from the community. There's going to be a large group of people that really don't like it, but there's also going to be a large group of people that are really big fans of this style of art. Disclaimer, I'm not personally a big fan of the art style in general, although this card, this Drowzee, I am a fan of, I do like. As well, I have a soft spot for it being Gen 1, and the colours in general of the card I do like. But the fact that there is going to be a large camp of people that do have a certain soft spot for this style of art, for this style of illustration, I can appreciate, and therefore there's always going to be a decent level of desirability for this card based on the illustration, right? But I just don't think it's worth $80 personally, okay? I think it's worth more than what it was back in August, September, October time, sitting at around $10, $11. I think it was always somewhat undervalued because, as I said before, that type of art, that type of illustration is always going to appeal to a certain group of people, right? So there's a certain level of desirability there. But I just think now it's ballooned to $82. I think it's slightly overpriced, but I'm open to your guys' opinion. I'm open to hear what you guys think. So let me know in the comments if you completely disagree with me. That's absolutely fine. I just think it's now slightly overpriced. It's gone a little bit too crazy in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying no illustration rares deserve to be that price, because depending on the art, depending on the illustrator, for example, the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved being Shinji Kanda, very famous illustrator, very good one. Depending on the Pokemon involved in the card, some cards definitely do warrant to be a high price and up there with the SIRs. For example, this beast right here, we're talking about the legendary Pokemon Groudon that is from Generation 3. Therefore, there are quite a few reasons why this does deserve to be a $100 card, which it is, as you can see right here. Now, Groudon, of course, a legendary Pokemon from the original generations. Therefore, there's a decent level of desirability and admiration from a certain group of the community, I'm being part of that were around in the early 2000s and have a soft spot for those earlier generations. And if you look at the artwork as well, you can't go wrong with that. Look at those blues and blacks and greys of that misty, stormy sky in the background, and the reds and blacks of those volcano erupting with the magma flowing in the background and foreground. It's just a beautiful, beautiful card. I wish the Pokemon Company made a similar illustration rare for Kyogre, so you had the two Pokemon there together in the same set. I think they missed a trick there. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, but it is what it is, right? But the point being, this Groudon card deserves to be the price that it is, right? I'm not, as I said before, I'm not saying illustration rares don't deserve to be that sort of price. I'm just saying, depending on the Pokemon, depending on the artwork, there are certain illustration rares that do warrant a high price, like $100 plus, in this Groudon being one of them. But what I think the Pokemon Company need to do is just take it easy and slow down a sec and catch up, because the further they continue to push, the more and more they're behind the 8 ball. But it seems that they just have no interest in doing so as we receive this news. That being the fact that we have more information released on the new set, which is Destined Rivals for May, which all but confirms it will be a heavily influenced set by Team Rocket based cards and individuals. As you can see here, I don't need to go into too much information, but if you look at PokeBeach, which is a fantastic website for Pokemon TCG related news, go check it out. You'll see that we have official images of some of the artwork of the booster packs from this new set. And we all know how wanted this was, right? We've heard for a long time the rumors and the leaks of this Team Rocket themed set. And here we have some official images of it, and people have gone absolutely crazy for it. Now, on the face of it, this looks and sounds very attractive, right? Me as an OG, as an old head, I was around back in the day in 2000 when the Rocket set came out then. and I'm a huge fan of those dark Pokemon and that set in general, so I would love to experience this set. And on the face of it, it looks fantastic, right? But only about 1% of the community are going to be able to actually experience this set, get their hands on products, open packs, and collect the cards. Therefore, it may look good, but it doesn't really matter because we're not going to be able to experience it. You know, the problems have been there for a while now. We've seen how difficult it was to get Prismatic Evolutions, or still is difficult to get Prismatic Evolution products out there right now. It's an absolute bloodbath, right? And prices are sky high. No one wants to pay those prices. Journey Together, when those products were released on the Pokémon Center website on release day, they were gone in a matter of minutes. It was nigh on impossible to get your hands on products. And then when you look at this new Team Rocket set, in my opinion, it's much more desirable than the Journey Together set, and arguably more desirable than Prismatic Evolutions. You're weighing up your Evolution lovers versus your Team Rocket lovers. I have a foot in both camps. I'm actually a big fan of both, but they arguably have the same sort of level of desirability. And if we see with the way things are, how many people are involved in the community right now, involved in Pokemon and wanting to get their hands on products for whatever reason, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath on release day on the Pokémon Center website trying to obtain that product. So with all this being said, we've looked at the Pokémon Center website, we've seen just how scarce product is and how hard it is to obtain right now. We've looked at some singles, we've looked at the price of them and how way overvalued some of them are. For example, that Drowzee card. What's the fix? What should the Pokemon company do? So what's the solution? I just think they need to just slow things down. They're just way behind the 8-ball right now. And the further that 8-ball keeps rolling, the more sets they keep printing and printing and printing and bringing out, the further they are behind the 8-ball, because there's still sets that need reprinting. For example, Surging Sparks feels like an age ago. It feels like a long, long time ago. It was only a few months ago. It was only the end of last year in November that came out. And they did kind of one print run, I'm guessing, where we had product on release and that went quick and we just haven't heard about it since. People are calling out for Prismatic Evolution reprints and they put out a little statement about that. That's cool. What about Surging Sparks? That's a phenomenal set. We haven't heard a thing about that. As we can see here, for example, the latest sets to be released, it has the dates they were released. Every 2 to 3 months, we're getting a new set. It's just ridiculous. It is crazy, right? And I don't want to complain because we all love new sets. We all love new cards. It gives us more to collect. It gives us more things to admire. And I like that. But perhaps it's not the best thing for the TCG in this moment. As you can see, March, 2 months earlier in January, 2 months earlier in November, 2 months earlier in September, 2 months earlier in August, 3 months earlier in May, 2 months earlier in March, 2 months earlier in January, and the list goes on and on and on. It's just something that they never used to do. They were a bit more sporadic with their releases of the TCG, or to give them their proper name, the expansions, right? We call them sets, but I guess they're properly called expansions. They're just too common, just too often. As we can see, as we've just seen from that list, they're releasing new sets every 2 to 3 months, and I get it from their point of view. The Pokemon Company, as a big organization, the main objectives that the big bosses will have is just to make money, just break records, just keep making sales. That's all they need to do. And that, I get it. That's the main goal of a big organization. I get it, okay? Which is why they're just pumping out more and more sets, because they know that people are just going to keep buying and buying and buying. Now, although I think this is nowhere near being realistic at all, my supposed change or fix would be have a break. Don't print any new sets, or don't come out with any new sets for a 6 to 8 month period, and just catch up. Because the further they keep kicking that can down the road and printing new sets, the further they are behind the 8-ball. Look at all these sets that need reprinting. As we've just seen on the Pokémon Center website, everything's out of stock. And of course, I'm not asking them to go back and print Brilliant Stars or Silver Tempest. I get it, they're gone. And even Scarlet and Violet Base and your earlier Scarlet and Violet sets, I get it, they're gone, they're not being reprinted. But Surging Sparks, as I said before, feels like an age ago. It only came out in November, that's only a few months ago. It needs a reprint. So does Twilight Masquerade, in my opinion. So does Prismatic Evolutions. I think we all know that needs printing, and a lot. Journey Together hasn't come out yet, but we all know that's going to need a reprint on day 2, right? Destined Rivals is about to come out as well after Journey Together, and we all know how sought after that set's going to be, as it's based around Team Rocket. That will also need printing into the ground, because that's going to be very, very desirable. Point being, they just need to print. But they're not going to have the capacity to do so, or the time to do so, if they keep coming out with more and more new sets. So either slow it down to a point where they're not bringing any new sets out for quite a long period of time, as I said, 6 to 8 months, or only bring out 1 or 2 sets between now and the end of the year, because let's not forget, 2026 is gonna be a huge year for the TCG. We have the 30th anniversary, which, as we know, they like to do celebrations and products for anniversaries. We had it with the 25th, we had it with the 20th, and I'm sure we'll have some stuff for the 30th. And also, it will be the release of Gen 10 most likely. We're going to have a year, 2026, crammed with a celebration for the 30th anniversary, as well as the release of the new gen, being Gen 10. I just think if we go into that year approaching it with the way we are now, with the situation being the way it is, it's going to be hell in 2026. It really is. Therefore, what I think they could really benefit from doing, just focus on printing sets that are in dire need of reprints, Surging Sparks, Prismatic Evolutions, etc, etc. Let the demand catch up to supply, print it into oblivion, and therefore they can go into this new year almost like a clean slate, right? Everyone's happier, a lot more people can get their hands on products, prices come down, things are a lot more stable and normal in the TCG. Now, of course, I'm just offering my kind of 2 cents on the situation, what I think would be a reasonable kind of solution to this situation. I'd like to know what you guys think though. Of course, I'm open to hearing other people's opinions, what they think of mine, and also what you guys think would be a very reasonable solution to the problem we have right now. So let me know, guys, down in the comments what you think. I'd love to hear and talk it out with you guys on how we can fix this problem. Now, despite things being the way they are, guys, there are still some cards that are very affordable. In fact, I found 10 that are still under $5 and would be a fantastic addition to your collection. So if you want to check that video out, you can have a look at that one here. Apart from that, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching and for your continued support. Please, if you have enjoyed it, leave a like on the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Until then, I've been Pokechala. I'll catch you in the next one.